And we switch to UFOs. We hear about some whistleblower with new promises of UFO intrigue, and every time they lack even a scintilla of proof. Harvard professor, though, says a tiny pellet from a meteor might be the first real proof available. He found them where a meteor crashed into the Pacific Ocean off Papua New Guinea. Professor Avi Loeb joins us now. Professor, it's good to see you. All right. So do I have this right, that these tiny little things that are smaller than a BB, they're either from a meteor or from an alien craft?
Well, they are the molten droplets from the surface of this object when it was exposed to the extreme heat from a fireball that it generated while passing through the atmosphere. And it was detected by US government sensors back on January 8th, 2014. And we realized 5 years later that actually it was moving so fast that it must have originated from outside the solar system. The US Space Command confirmed that at the 99.999% confidence in a letter that they sent to NASA a year ago. And then we started planning for an expedition to retrieve any materials from this object, because apparently it was tougher than all space rocks that were cataloged by NASA over the past decade, 272 of them. And it was also moving faster than 95% of the stars in the vicinity of the sun. So we decided to go and check whether it's made of some artificial alloy that may explain its toughness, and perhaps it's some spacecraft from another civilization. So we went to the Pacific Ocean and we found those spherules, these metallic marbles that we saw with a microscope, that are the droplets that melted off the surface of the object. And I received them by FedEx over the past week, delivered to my doorstep. I realized it may have taken millions or billions of years for that material to arrive to Earth. But now we have possession of those materials. And, you know, it's the first time that humans put their hands on the materials from an interstellar object, an object that originated from outside the solar system, bigger than half a meter.
I'm trying to digest everything you said. It's the problem oftentimes with interviewing people who are so much smarter than I am, trying to actually sort of put together what this means. So these are droplets from an object that came from outside the solar system. I'm curious, why is it, and I mean this with no disrespect, but why is it that you, a professor at Harvard, is the guy finding these, and it's not the U.S. government who's searching for them?
Well, the US government is concerned with national security. Okay, so they would be more interested in objects that have made in China on them. This is an object that came from interstellar space, so it's of scientific interest. The US government discovered it. The Department of Defense came to my defense in declaring it to be interstellar after we realized it. And so altogether, they're supporting my research, but I'm approaching it as a scientist. You know, this is knowledge that should be shared by all humans. Has nothing to do with national security. And, you know, it's just like going out to your backyard and looking for objects other than the rocks that you are familiar with. And every now and then you might notice an object that came from the street, such as a tennis ball that was thrown by a neighbor. That's what we did here. We noticed an object that came from outside of our backyard, the solar system, right, and it looks unusual.
Yeah, well, and I'll take your word for it. We put up the composition: 84% iron, 8% silicon, 4% magnesium, 2% titanium, 2% trace elements. There has been, over the past, say, 4 or 5 months, this drumbeat that there are UFOs and the U.S. government is hiding information about UFOs. Tim Burchett, Congressman of Tennessee, has been very outspoken on this issue. Here he is talking about, if UFOs came, that America, the U.S. military, couldn't handle it. Take a listen.
We couldn't handle it. We couldn't fight them off if we wanted to. That's why I don't think that they're a threat to us, or they would already have been.
It's one thing to say that this is a mass that came from outside our solar system. Is there anything about these things that you have located that show you that it was something that was made rather than naturally occurring?
Well, that's an excellent question. That's what we are about to answer in the coming weeks. We're analyzing the materials at Harvard, And just imagine droplets that were molten off a computer screen or of semiconductors. They would have different composition than rocks. And so we will try to figure this out.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.